I don't know, is this, are we, I'm not going to use the microphone because I don't need it. My name's, or do they care in the other room? Yeah. Okay. My name's Pat Warren. I'm the president of Kansas Speedway. The first thing we're going to do today is embarrass Jeff, who obviously has a great history with Kansas Speedway, with winning our first two races, our first two Sprint Cup races, and winning our inaugural night race. And the first thing, we have a presentation from some of the Chiefs ambassadors, Duron Cherry and Chris Penn. And so I'll invite them up. You guys want to speak? Or?
Hey, Jeff. Yeah. How you doing? Good to see you. Hey, on behalf of the Kansas City Chiefs organization and the Chiefs ambassadors, I have to tell you, you know, Kansas is your home because you won the first two races here. I was here at the time, and we've always been a supporter of NASCAR and your career, and it's been an excellent career. And on behalf of our ambassadors, we want to present you with your own Chiefs jersey.
We also want to present you with the Chiefs Kingdom flag. And put that on, display that on your motor coach.
And you have to start on Sunday.
Awesome. Thank you.
The other presentation we have actually was an idea that was inspired by Hector St. John and Jack Stowe. Jack is a teacher in the North Kansas City School District. And Jeff, we'd read about the infamous fuzz car that you've been looking for. And as you know, we've got a history of giving away pedal cars to the Pole Award winner at the track. And so the automotive students in the North Kansas City School District, you guys want to come up? Yeah. Made this for you. Do you guys want to remove the...
Yeah, we can go ahead and do
that. They couldn't replicate the fuzzy paint, I'm told, but...
Appreciate it,
guys. That's it for us. Kerry?
Well, and that, you know, that you have to understand the backstory on that for some of you that do, but the very first quarter midget that I ever drove, this is a replica of that car, and they did an awesome job with it. My stepdad has been on the hunt for that car, because we had somebody that came to us and said they had it, and then I think we researched it and found out it wasn't it. Obviously, that car being the very, very first car that I ever drove would be pretty meaningful to have. So we've been out there on social media and everything else trying to hunt down this car. So this is the closest that I'm going to come to it until somebody reveals that car. But we called it the fuzz car because whoever or however it got to us, it was painted with a paint that literally felt. It was like a fur. It was the strangest thing ever. And we called it the fuzz car because it was fuzzy. And we won some races with that car, and so it's got a lot of history. So thank you. I appreciate it. Great job. Oh, really? Oh, that's cool. Well, either way, it has a tremendous amount of meaning to me because it was the first car. And by the way, I'll always be a Chiefs fan because Joe Montana came here, and I was a huge Joe Montana fan when he was at the 49ers, and any team that he ever went to, I was going to follow. So thank you for this these gifts from the Kansas City Chiefs as well.
Thank you very much, Jeff. And certainly as you make your last stop at these racetracks, to have a professional football team come out here like the Chiefs, and then the young guys that develop this car, you know, you're getting a wide variety of gifts. We've seen them all. But just talk a little bit about your memories here at Kansas Speedway, and like you said, you won the first 2 races here. What do you remember most about racing at this racetrack?
Well, and it's interesting because obviously winning those first 2 races were special, but every time I come back here, now that we get a chance to do it twice a year, every time I come back I realize why I like this track so much, and obviously the whole team's got to put the effort together to be successful like we have been here, but I like this track. It just drives in a way that I just enjoy it. The transitions, the smoothness of the track, the grip level of the track. There's just a lot to like here, and it was that way the first time I came here. And when you enjoy driving a track as much as I do this track, as a driver, it allows you to not have to think too much about what you're doing out there, but just fine tune on what you need out of the car. And I just today, first laps on the track, I'm like, yes, good to be back here. It's just a great track. Seems like there's a few tracks that are on the schedule that it seems like no matter what's going on with our schedule or with our team and our performance, you can always count on going to those tracks and being successful or having good speed. Martinsville is certainly one that comes to mind, but outside the short tracks, this is one of those tracks for me as well.
Take questions now for Jeff Gordon. We'll start right here on the front row, and then we'll go to Jared, and then my man from Albuquerque.
Jeff, Todd Palmer, Kansas City Star. Do you get tired of these kind of celebrations as you've gone on through the season? With retirement, would you rather people focus on the chase right now? And have you allowed yourself to dream yet about how magical it would be to, go out as a champion, get that 5th title?
When something unique is handed to you like this, that would never get old, and that's very special, especially when there's thought behind it as well, and how it can. I mean, this goes further than just me. This goes to my family. Not just my kids that are going to think it's cool, but my stepdad, my mom, that have memories of that first car. So no, that doesn't get old, and I understand. This this is my final year, and we're winding it down, and the tracks are paying tribute, and I appreciate that very, very much. I think I'm just so focused on what we're doing as a team. During the week, I'm not sitting at home or going to the shop or on emails reminiscing about my career. I'm focused on what do I have to do at Kansas, what do we have to do as a team, and we're having those kinds of meetings or thoughts, or we're going to Phoenix and testing like we did this week. So for me, it's just working hard and trying to make that magic thing happen. I thought we performed well at Charlotte at a track that has kind of been tough on us the last couple of years, and I thought we performed well there, and we come to a track that I think we're capable of performing even better, and even if we don't win here, I feel pretty good about Talladega as well, even though it's the wild card. Our team and our cars have been really strong there, so can we dream a little bit? Not yet. We've got too much work to do, but we're certainly working very, very hard to try to make that happen.
Let's go to Jared, and then we'll go to my man from Albuquerque.
Yeah, Jared Turner, foxsports.com, Jeff. A couple things. Talking about all your gifts, I'm curious, is there a place that's going to be designated for you to keep all these gifts?
I'm going to have to make one now
yeah.
after this year.
Yeah, it's there's so many, right? And secondly, there's only been 2 seasons since you started out in Sprint Cup that you've gone winless. I know you don't want to think about it, but, I mean, how difficult would it be to swallow, or would it be difficult to swallow if you did not win in this your final season?
It wouldn't be. I mean, we want to win, and I think we're capable of winning at certain tracks. I feel like we had a couple get away from us this year, that we had a shot at winning. And to me, being competitive is the most important thing. But if you're not competitive at this level on a consistent basis, you're probably not going to win. And there's been some of our competitors have really gotten the best of us this year as a whole, not just the 2014, but Hendrick Motorsports, and that's why we haven't gone to victory lane as much as a organization as I think we'd like to this year. But I think we've been making some ground on that, and we're peaking at the right time. And we've got tracks coming up that I think we're capable of winning at. This one is one of them, I feel like. I think most important to me is being in championship contention at Homestead. And if we win the championship without winning a race, I'll be completely fine without winning a race. I will have no problems with that at all.
So talking about the place to keep the gifts, I mean, is there something you have in mind, a place to keep all this?
Haven't put a lot of thought into it yet. There's a lot of things that have to be sorted out when the year's over, and things that usually happen during the off season. That'll be one of the things on the list. I mean, we have a warehouse of things that are personal items of mine that we store, but we haven't turned it into a facility where we showcase it. It's not where people come and visit, but there's always opportunities at the Hendrick Museum, at the Hall of Fame, at our offices to showcase some of the items that we've had.
Go ahead.
Dominic Argo on the RacingExperts.com. Jeff, if you're able to maybe not win this week or next week at Talladega, how confident are you that you and your team can advance to the next round of the playoffs?
I mean, I'm very excited about how we performed under the circumstances last week in Charlotte. We struggled in practice. We didn't qualify well, and yet in the race we constantly improved and moved forward and didn't take ourselves out of it. And I thought we fought really hard and ended up 8th. We had a shot at 7th there right at the end with Austin and just couldn't complete that pass or get to him. And then I feel like that was when I look at this round. I felt like if we could come out of there with a solid finish like we did, that would be very encouraging. And then today I feel like our car is more competitive than it was last week, so that's also extremely encouraging. And I know Talladega is one of those things we all look at going, oh man, I don't want to have to go in there having to put up specific numbers, because anything can happen at any time. But I look at the performance we've had on the restrictor plate tracks this year, and they've been very, very strong. So that's encouraging there as well. So I feel confident we can move to the next round.
Let's go to Nate Ryan right there in front of Dominic.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Jeff, what you were saying there about Charlotte, it seems like the team has been executing better, maximizing results, performance over the last month. Is there something to that where is it just that you're making fewer mistakes than you were earlier in the season, or was there something maybe more deliberate that you guys are doing that's allowed you to perform at a more level?
Man, just a lot of focus and energy and effort that's been put into improving things. I think the cars are improved. I feel like our communication, because of all that we've been through this year, where we've had some really tough times, and whether it be the performance of the car or a restart or pit strategy or pit stop. Just we went through some times where we were really at one another, and we lived through that and actually strengthened our communication as a team through that. When you can get through that and be better because of it, you usually, if the timing works out, find the way to shine through that, and that's what I think we're doing right now. I think you said it best. We're just executing. We did not execute very well earlier in the season, and it showed as bad results, and we weren't very good. We've improved our car slightly, but we're executing, and the results are showing because of it. Our pit crew was really spot on last week as well. That was nice.
Let's go down the road there to Stan. Raise your hand, and then we'll finish up with Matt.
Hey, Jeff. Stan Creekmore with RPMTonight.com. Can you remember the day you climbed into that quarter midget the very first time and what it made you feel like?
I can barely remember what I did last week, Stan. which is probably why I need to retire. No, I don't. You know, I know of this car through photographs. You know, I have certain memories that I remember crashing a car one time at a track, and I remember I wasn't real happy about it. I think it's the first time I'd ever flipped over, and I think that was in this car. But I only remember the memory from inside the car. Yeah, no. Other than that, I don't. Unfortunately, I wish I had more memories. I kind of remember the first time we went out to the fairgrounds there in Vallejo, and started it up for the first time. I have a little bit of a memory of that.
Finish up right there in the middle with Matt. Raise your hand, please.
Matt Weaver, AutoWeek.com. Jeff, when you look at your career, there's really two distinct portions of it. You know, the first half of the career with Ray, where you guys were so dominant, and then the second half where you've had a lot of good seasons, but then you've had seasons where you didn't quite meet the expectations y'all might have set. So I'm curious, there's also that period kind of coincides with taking the downforce and putting it back on the car of tomorrow, the Gen 6. And you hear all the time drivers say that certain packages or certain cars suit their driving style, and you've talked about cars that are kind of loose handling, not as much downforce, being to your liking. Do you think that's kind of taken away from your opportunity to get to 100 wins or 5 championships or success?
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, my career goes much further back than the Cup Series. So, but if we're talking about Cup, I think two things about the comments and sort of your questioning is, one is if Ray Evernham and I could have survived through 1999 and stayed together, we would have won a lot more races and championships. I believe that. You know, he's just that kind of a special person and leader, and we both can joke about it now as friends. Years later, he had a great opportunity to go with Dodge and to start his own team. I had a great opportunity to stay with Hendrick, and it worked out pretty well for both of us. You know, you could look at all kinds of things that have happened in the sport over the years as to what's changed and what's suited a team or a driving style, or contribute to wins or lack thereof. You know, I think that, you know, had Jimmy Johnson not come along and dominated the way he could, I could have all kinds of excuses, but he kind of obsoletes all that because he did it, you know, and we were basically getting beat by him, you know, all the time through those, you know, from 2004 till current. But I think that for me, yeah, it's just change in general, right? A repave, let's say, of a racetrack. I mean, I take Phoenix, for instance. They repaved that racetrack. I won the very last race, and they repaved it, and we struggled at that track thereafter. In any time they've repaved a racetrack, I think it's taken away from our ability to stay as competitive. I'd say, you know, this track is one of the tracks I probably have come back the best at after a repave, and that's just it's a different tire. The rules maybe change a little bit with the cars. It's just a different feel and way that you go about driving the car. You don't have the multiple grooves, you know, to really go and search around on. And I like that kind of a track. And so, you know, I mean, I could go on and on and on and list all kinds of things. Certainly, the car of tomorrow was to me the car of not tomorrow, and it just you know, changed a lot of things. It changed for us as an organization because we weren't able to utilize our resources as well to find an edge against the competition. It was built and designed to equal out the competition, which is great, you know, when you're looking at lap times, but creates less passing and creates, you know, I think less opportunity for us to utilize the wind tunnel and the engineering and all the things that we were known for, to be creative and get an edge on the competition. So I don't know, maybe those things were designed against us. But the last couple years, I've enjoyed the cars. I've enjoyed you know, the balance of them and the tires and the things that we've had. And last year especially, you know, we were very, very competitive, and we hit on that well, I do like a car that has more power. When they took away the power this year, I think it hurt me. I would prefer to have something that you have to control the wheel spin and how the car, how hard you drive the car in the corner, when you get back in the gas. And I think that did hurt us a little bit, me as a driver and us as a team. And we finally started getting a little bit better with that second half of the year.
Jeff Gordon, thank you for coming in here. Good luck this weekend. Thanks to the Kansas City Chiefs and our young people over here at the school for being out here today, and your recognition of Jeff Gordon, certainly one of the great champions in all of sports. Thank you.